Uh, Good afternoon to you all. I would like to convey my apology for not being able to reach on time because I came from Imphal and I got stuck up on the way because of the heavy traffic. As usual, particularly in Imphal area, there was a heavy traffic jam. And when I reached Susanpur also from the Shelmet to this place, it took a lot of time because of the traffic. So my delay was not only because of me, because of the traffic also. So today I'm really grateful to the Vision Lamka organizing committee, particularly senior citizens of Susanpur, Pur, Nekhumang, and other colleagues. As I have already joined the senior citizenship from February of this year, I may be one of the junior most senior citizenship, but many seniors are organizing it. So I must say that thank you a lot for inviting me to this very important this thing. For the Vision Lamka building. Friends, you know that before I came to my topic, I would like to say something about how we feel about Susanpur, about my feeling. Susanpur is something like the district headquarters, the district which we all belong, is one of the most popular and a very important district because this is the district which are almost number one in all respect because this is our district where we have produced many IAS officers who have retired as the chief secretary of many states, plus many senior officers in the government of India who have retired, and many more judges and so many other senior officers who have been produced from the Susanpur district. On the other hand, we are always number one. In all respect, I would like to say that even this time when COVID was first reported in Manipur, I was also associated with the COVID coordinating committee at the government of Manipur. Then in the initial stage, what happened when there was a very little report in other districts, Susanpur reported very high all the time. Then my colleague in the secretariat were asking, Baite, what happened to your district? Then I told them that Susanpur, we will never be number two, we will be always number one, in all respect. Let it be COVID or anything, we should be number one. That was what I responded. Because we were drug addiction, there also we were number one. Even the COVID also, we were number one in the initial stage. Even in the civil service, we were number one. Like that, this is how Susanpur has been. I'm proud to say that Susanpur is leading in the way how Susanpur and other districts, like Susanpur is a town, I must say it's a town with heterogeneous communities. Development normally takes place where there is a heterogeneity in the society because there is a competition for, it's a healthy competition. So Susanpur is a town. Although we know each other, we can speak in our own dialect, but everybody understands it. This is something like we are at the pre-Babel age, no? Susanpur is something like the pre-Babel. You know Babel, no? Yeah. So we are at almost at the pre-Babel age. This is the beauty of Susanpur. But now, why we all feel proud of Susanpur is that we are heterogeneous community, language, no barrier, and then culture, more or less the same, yet we identify ourselves as a different community, different clans, different tribes, and that helps us bringing together in a healthy competition. So this is how, that is why Chusanpur is developed. See, like friends, like in my past service experience, as I see almost 30 years of service in the Forest Department, Manipur, you know, in early 80s and 90s, Chusanpur division, the forest division of Chusanpur was considered to be one of the biggest and the best forest divisions in Manipur, because manpower, everything, the natural resources, whatever was there in Chusanpur was one of the highest, and then the funding pattern, funding also system, unlike many other forest divisions, districts, Chusanpur was always number one. But of late, what happened? Chusanpur, as on today, I'm sorry to say that we are equivalent to a very, very newly created districts. This is the pattern that that the train which has come down in respect of Chusanpur district. And then you know that funding pattern is one thing, but even other aspect also, even other departments also, government of Manipur as a whole. If you see the trains of the last 5 or 10 years, the development in Chusanpur is very, very high. If you see the towns, the buildings, and then the landscape, everything, Chusanpur is always number one, as I said. I am proud to be a Chusanpurian, but in the meantime, I'm sorry to say that in spite of all the good efforts that Chusanpur people made it, the government hardly give any cognizance or recognition of our Chusanpur district. Because the investment, if you see the Chusanpur, the investment is very less, but the development is very fast. This is a sign of positive. I must say that it's a positive sign, because in spite of less investment, the people are very competitive, and we are trying to supersede or to do things in a better and better direction, to move in a better direction. This is how the Chusanpur is about. Now, let me come to my topic, that is the perspective on global climate change and environment. Slide number 1. Let us first know what is climate change. I think climate change is something like everybody is thinking that this year climate is very bad. Climate change is there, it's hot, it's cold, this and that. Everybody knows how to complain, how everybody feels that there is a change in climate. But what is exactly climate change? This is something like we all need to know. I don't want to go in a very scientific and detail, but I would like to emphasize on the basic. What exactly is the climate change? Climate change is a long-term shift in temperature and weather pattern. You know what is weather and what is climate? People used to say that today's climate is very bad. Yesterday's climate was better. That is what normally we talk. But that is absolutely wrong word that we use it. Climate, today's day-to-day events, the rainfall, the temperature, the wind, all those things is not a climate. It's a weather. It's a weather. Today's weather is bad. Today's weather is good. Those things we can say, but the climate is a long-term shift in temperature. It's a long-term. It's not a short-term, or it's not a day-to-day affair, but it is a long-term. So, long-term shift in temperature is the climate, and long-term change in the rainfall pattern, wind direction, or windy season and all those things make a climate. and the accumulation or consolidation of many years of events of the weather, data of the event, the weather will make a climate. So climate is a change. Climate is a permanent and it's a kind of an irreversible. Once changed, it cannot be reverted back. So this is our climate. Weather is changeable. Day-to-day weather can be changed, but climate once changed, it is a permanent in nature. That's why this my second point says that it's a slow, irreversible, and permanent. Once change, it is irreversible, permanent, but the process is very slow. The slow part is an advantage for us, but the irreversible and permanent is not a good sign. So when we say that why the climate is changed, it is because of the change in the weather pattern, weather changes, weather over a period of years or time makes this climate change. Now, coming to my second slide is the causes of climate change. You know that human civilization, human development, normally we feel very happy because development has taken place. But sometimes development is not always positive towards the climate. Now, this causes of climate change is that burning of fossil fuel, coal, oil and gases, petroleum products, gas, that LPG gas which we use, and then burning of coals. All this is for the development, this is for the human development. But it do have a lot of negative impact because this produce burning of fossil fuel. What happens is that this fossil fuel, when it burns, it produces a lot of carbon dioxide gases. And this carbon dioxide gases forms a shield around this earth. Carbon dioxide doesn't go permanently above the sky or anything like that, but it makes a shield. Even like burning of garbages, it produces a methane gas, and methane also it doesn't go because the atmospheric air, you know, if you see the normal atmospheric air, oxygen content is 16% and nitrogen is about 78%. And nitrogen is being a lighter gas, it always goes up, but oxygen is around us, and then this oxygen is the survival of any living organism is based on availability of oxygen. But the beauty, the creation of God, we never know that this had happened, but in the creation itself it is known that man survived because of oxygen. And oxygen, who produced oxygen? You know that oxygen is produced by the plant by absorbing carbon dioxide which are produced from the burning of fossil fuel and other straw burning or whatever burning took place. This carbon dioxide is produced and carbon dioxide is being absorbed by the plant, and then this plant release oxygen. I think many of us must be having the experience of oxygen, wanting of oxygen during this COVID period. No? You know, there was a lot of hue and cry at the national level, at the state level, because oxygen shortage was causing a lot of panic to many communities and in many hospitals. And this oxygen is the same oxygen which is produced by the plant and which we synthesize it. It is being used for saving the lives of many people who are in the hospitals and in the ICUs. So this oxygen, carbon dioxide, which we produce from burning of fossil fuel, gas and all are absorbed. Supposing when deforestation took place, now the second point is deforestation. As we know that the plant absorbs carbon dioxide and produce oxygen, but we keep on felling trees and then all the trees are being felled. Then who will produce the oxygen is a question. So deforestation is something which is very common in our district. So we need to look into this kind of a deforestation, and we take it as a lungs. You know, in Imphal, they used to call this Langol, which is surrounding the Imphal city. They call it, this forest is the lungs of Imphal city. Lungs means for inhalation and exchange of oxygen takes place in the lungs. So this oxygen produced by the Langol Hill, plants from the Langol Hill, is being used by the people in the city, and the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and then from the burning of fossil fuel or petroleum products which are being produced by those vehicles and all are being absorbed by the trees from the hills. That is what normally people, as a layman perspective, that is what we normally say. Now this one thing, the third point is that landfill garbage. People think that this garbage is something we used to, in tribal area though, we normally use this garbage for feeding of pigs and this poultry or ducks and all this thing. But garbages in the large scale, plastic garbages or so many other things, these garbages is something very, very dangerous thing. These garbages produce, when you burn these garbages, it produces a methane gas. And methane gas is a very fatal gas. Please understand that this methane is a very fatal gas which are being produced mostly because of the burning of methane gas, burning of garbages. So I think we need to develop a kind of a clean mechanism or clean city, whatever we have to maintain. Garbage disposal is something which we should not neglect it. And then this burning of agricultural waste. Burning of agricultural waste includes shifting cultivation areas in our tribal or in our hill areas. You know that for cultivation of some small quantity of paddy or whatever agricultural crop, the land mass that we burn is something like a very, very harmful, very dangerous thing. The smoke, even I think during this March, April, even the sun before it sets, the sun becomes completely looking green or red, because of the smokes coming from the shifting cultivation. So the carbon that produce, that much of carbon, which are carbon dioxide, which are being produced by burning of those agricultural waste or shifting cultivation area, this is something which is really has got a lot of impact on climate change, because when the carbon dioxide and the methane gas encircle the earth, the sun ray comes, it penetrates, and then the heat is supposed to escape to the atmosphere openly. But the carbons and the methane gas which surrounds the earth, it protects the heat which are supposed to be moving freely in the atmosphere. So this is how the earth temperature is being risen because of this carbon dioxide and methane gas forming a layer on the earth. So the agricultural waste burning is something which is very, very dangerous, and we should think of before burning in a large scale. And then this the next one is about what is the impact? The impact of climate change. You know that Imphal, Manipur, once upon a time, this was a colder place. But as a forest officer, what we know is that in the past, teak or subtropical species, Hartley, or tropical plants hardly grows in Manipur, particularly in Chutanpur or Imphal or even in many areas. But now you see that the climate change, the temperature, the global temperature from 1800, 1800, that is the year of industrialization of the world, the temperature from 1800 to as on today, the global temperature rise in temperature is about 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is the report of the United Nations Organization, UNO. UN had reported that there has been rise in global temperature by 1.5 degrees Celsius since industrialization in 1800. 1800. So this kind of a climate change is not only felt by human being, it is being felt by the plants, the food crop that we grow. That's why the food production system changes because of the climate change. You know, in agriculture we studied that there is a system, the word called temporary wilting of plants and then permanent wilting of plants. Once the plant reaches any food crop or anything which you grow, when the temperature rises and then there is a shortage of water, then it comes to the permanent wilting point, and then when there is a permanent wilting point, the plant will never survive, the plant will die. This is based on the availability of temperature, the water as well as the rising of temperature. So the whole world, now we say that this is a paddy zone, this is a maize zone, this is good for ginger, this and that. But it has got a kind of thing that temperature and then the survival of a plant or animal has got a limited period of time, limited temperature. So this we need to look into this. And this rising of sea level, I have given in my report that the rising of sea level also reported by the UN, that rising of sea level, melting of glaciers, all these things will have a negative impact on that. So since I am running short of time, let me just say that we need to understand the impact of climate change, and as far as for development of Chutanpur is concerned, as a kind of a way forward, I would like to make a little bit suggestion. As my our previous chief guest has already spoken about the need for the green, building the green Chutanpur. Now I would like to mention a very few points that being a citizen of Chutanpur, a district, Chutanpur district people, I think we all need to take responsibility that it is my duty to develop, to beautify, to develop this district into a better and which is livable and which can be which can be appreciated by all. And then for this matter we can do a lot of publicity. We can go for a kind of information circulation to our neighbors. And then we need to, I would like to mention one thing also, that we are proud that the whole hill belongs to us, but we need to introspect whether the patas, the dark jethas, whether this is a legal or illegal in terms of in the matter of MLR Act as well as the Darbar Resolution, and then Hill Area Autonomous District Council Act, Village Authority Act. Under all those things, I think we are being allotted a land as a chiefship and all these things. But whether these are exactly legal and applicable as on today or not, because from government side, from time to time, different issue comes up. So as a citizen of Chusanpur, I feel that we need to, this society or this group, let us look into this kind of legality of the allotment which is given to our chiefs. And then we need to look into about the menace of our poppy cultivation, because poppy cultivation is something which I think Chusanpur, let us think about the Chusanpur, whether we should do something about this poppy cultivation. This is a big challenge, not only for to the environment, to the human society. This is something which is a challenge to us. And then I would like to make a suggestion that, as my colleague Joshi had already said, that the Forest Department will really support us. There is a UNDP through which, through the Ministry of Environment and Forest, I think there is a lot of schemes under the UNDP. So we should look into this also. And there is another organization called Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and Environment, ATRI. This is also one of the organizations which is dealing with the climate change. And then I think if we can tie up with this ATRI also, I think it will be very, very helpful to us. And then Sir Ratan Tata Trust, under the corporate social responsibility also, let us look into this Sir Ratan Trust organization. And then from the Forest Department also, Manipur, let us request the Principal Chief Conservator of Forest to allocate at least some of our action plan, which let us prepare the action plan, and under the CAMPA, there is a provision. City forest is also one of the things which we can look into it, because there is a scheme under the city forest, under the CAMPA, under the Ministry of Environment and Forest. City forest is being developed in Imphal, one which is very successfully managed. And then Chusanpur also, there should be a very good scope for managing, establishing one big city forest. So this is something I would like to take it as a way forward. Thank you for your patient hearing. Since I have a very limited time, I'll end up my speech. Thank you.